Hello, church. I wanted to give you an opportunity to hear a little bit more about the build-up progress to date. There are so many moving pieces, and I've got a little bit longer I need to talk to you today about all the dimensions of that. I want to begin by thanking CCF again for her generosity. I'll have more to say about that later, but I wanted to start off with that because you have just been hilarious in your giving. It's been wonderful to see, and it's given us resources to address so many needs in the ministry center. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. So I have a little agenda here, 14 items that you can see on my little screen here. And I want to talk to you in order about what is happening in the renovation of our beloved ministry center. So let's start off with the first project that we kicked off, and that is metal siding. And if you have been outside and looked at our metal siding, you've noticed that, well, we got a good beginning, but then we kind of stalled out. And that is because, well, and I'll show you, here is the side of the building where we don't have any metal siding. And it is because we have been waiting for a material that is manufactured in New Zealand. It has been apparently kind of stuck on a boat somewhere on its way across the ocean to us. And the cool thing about this metal siding, it's called knotwood, and it is an aluminum siding, but it looks like wood. And that product is going to be used right underneath the windows on the south side of the building. It's also going to be used in both of the entryways of the building. So when you walk up, you'll see this nice metal siding on the outside, and then you walk up to a very warm and inviting kind of wooden-like entryway that I think is really going to look nice. Here's the good news. That product has arrived. It's been picked up in Arizona. And our installer is on his way back from Arizona with that material, and we believe that in the next few weeks they're going to be installing that. So get ready. I think by fall we'll have the exterior completely buttoned up and ready for winter, and it'll look fantastic. Well, many of you came across the street last week for the Take 5, and you came to the ministry center for that. After Take 5s, we didn't have it all for the month of July. We kicked back off again in August, and you saw the carpet, and you also saw the paint. And I think those look outstanding. You kind of come in, if you haven't seen it already, and walk around the building. All the classrooms are done, all the SOMA's done, main room is done, all the staff offices are done, and it has really turned out well. Here's what I would say. The color palette is really aimed at, a younger audience. It's really aimed at younger families that will come into this space and they'll say, hey, this is home for us. This looks like some place that's really inviting to us. And so for those of us that are a little bit older, it might not be our color taste, but I think it's really going to appeal to some young people, and it really leans into the multi-generational aspect of our church. We're always trying to say, let's make sure we're bringing in that younger generation, and I think our color palette is going to do that, at least in an appeal side for the building. All right, let's keep going. Interior signs, that is also on the way. We're going to be bidding that out very, very soon because obviously we need interior signs in the building. Here is a picture of one of our bathroom signs that's still up. That one will come down, and the new signs, as well as the orientation signs of what room numbers we have, that is all going to be installed fairly soon. We're going to be putting that out to bid and then having the contractor install those for us. So interior signs are on the way. Exterior signs are also on the way. We have completed the permitting process with the city of Edmonds. Pastor Eric is on point for this. And so the company that he has chosen is in manufacture of our signs right now. And there'll be one sign that's on the south side of the building and another sign that is on the west side of the building. Both of them lit, one backlit and the other downlit. And I think they're going to really be nice, and I think they're going to do something that we've needed for a time, and that is orient people that we are actually a church. Maybe in the past, people have kind of walked by and say, what is that building? And I think this is going to orient us a little bit more that we're a church and that we're Community Christian Fellowship in this area. I think it's especially going to be great for those that are across the street at the ECA for an event. They look across the street and see the lit sign, and they will know that that is the home for CCF in our area. All right, next one is interior lighting. So we have exterior signs and exterior lighting that's kind of happening, but we also have interior lighting. And Jim Dubois, one of our elders and one of our members for a long time, is on point for this. And believe me, here's the hallway with the lights. There are a lot of lights, whether they're recessed lights or they're hung lights. There are a lot of lights in our facility. And our idea is to kind of do those in batches, as it were. And Jim is a licensed electrician, so he can kind of spearhead that. And so we're taking that as it comes, but we're making some decisions along the way, and we believe fall will be a time where we do that. We are going to need some volunteers for that. Volunteers can't actually install the electrical, but they could take down old fixtures and they could actually suspend the new fixtures. They just can't do the electrical wiring. So we're going to be putting together some teams of individuals that can come and aid those who are our electricians in making sure that that project actually comes to fruition and that we actually have some cost savings with that. So thank you for that. Let's talk a little bit about staff office cabinets. I have a picture here of our staff office cabinets. And they are, well, they're our old green color, and they don't match with our palette anymore. So there is going to be a company that comes and pulls off the old laminate and puts on a new laminate. The cabinets are in decent shape. It's just that they need the refresh of the color scheme, as it were. And so that's going to be happening also in the fall. Next one is the window shades. We have already ordered the window shades. Those are going to go up there in the main room, as well, or the fellowship hall, or as well as into the Soma room, to be named something else very soon, but Soma room for now. And so window shades are going to go up. There's going to have the ability to be blackout on one half of it, or all of it, and then the other side of it is going to be a solar material so that it cuts down on the UV and the glare, but you can actually see out of it. So it's going to be really cool shades. Those are going to be suspended in all those areas, 9 windows in all, and I think those are going to really perform well for us and do some of the things that we've wanted to do for a long time, as far as just kind of making the room a little bit better as far as lighting goes. So anyway, that's on the way. Access door systems. I know this is something that most people don't necessarily notice unless you want to get into the building, and then we have what are called key fobs, and you pass the key fob by the access unit that I'm showing here, and that allows you to enter the building. Believe it or not, our access system is a legacy system, Honeywell system, so it's a good one we installed, but it's legacy and not even supported software-wise any longer. We have to make a move. And Brian Luke, our deacon chairman, is on point for this, and he has spec'd out what our new system would be like, and we are actually trying to find installers that can buy the hardware that we want and install it. And so we are in process of trying to find bids for people with that right now. So a new access system is on the way. In addition, we have our HVAC systems. Again, those all sit on the roof, and those are the things that heat and cool our building. And we've already replaced one of those. We replaced that last March, but we've got 2 more and some smaller units that are being replaced. They're already on order. Our deacons are handling this. I love that. And they are scheduled to have install somewhere in October or November of this year, as soon as the actual units can arrive. So we've ordered them. They're on the way. They'll be installed soon. The next one is kitchen renovation. And I have to say, if you stepped into the ministry center under our new color scheme and new textures, you kind of step into the bathrooms and the kitchen now, and you're like, ooh, those look really old. And you're right in saying that. They do show their age now. We have new surfaces that are going to be put down: flooring, paint, tiling, or actually countertops that are going to be made of quartz. All that's going to be going into those areas. It's going to look very nice. New stalls with kind of a new color and a new dimension to those. So that's going to be very nice in the bathrooms. So everybody's asking me, well, Pastor, when are we going to do that? When are we getting that done? And I'm like, let's go. We are going to need to close the facility again, probably for 2 weeks, because we will lose the bathrooms and lose the kitchen. So that's a lot of functions in the church that can't happen. So I am aiming for that to be actually next July. It's the lowest month of use in our building. It's the time where we really can button everything up and kind of not have use of those areas and still be okay. I look at all the other dimensions of our calendar, and it just doesn't afford us the opportunity to close a bathroom, for instance, for 2 weeks. So I think that that's what we'll do. We'll probably head in that direction to make the renovation of our bathrooms and kitchen a year from now, next July 2027, and we'll get all of our subs lined up and get that project done at that time. All right, so that's bathrooms and kitchen. We also plan a small upgrade in the Soma room, and the upgrade is really around audiovisual and audio and visual. So the screens that we use in order to present there, and as well as the audio side of that, some of the lighting around that room really needs to be addressed. And so we are wanting to clean up all the electronics, make that better in that room, because we use that a lot for presentations as well as small gatherings. So Soma has a small upgrade that's also going to be approached. All right, that brings us to the majority of the projects. There's a few other things that are perking out there, but it brings us to the last thing I really want to address with you today, and that is a financial update. And this is where I pause again on behalf of the elders, on behalf of the church, and I say thank you, CCF. To date, you have given $496,226. Remember, the pledge was $528,487. And that time frame is wonderful because we still have, obviously, till the end of this year, till the end of December, to receive everything. It is above and beyond anything that we could have asked or imagined. So thank you, CCF, for your generosity. I want to answer a quick question, because there's some people that have said, hey, the elders, I thought, had set aside an additional $200,000 in order to be used for the facility. And that's right. If you look back at some of the materials we originally put out, we anticipated receiving about $350,000 and then using some $200,000 in our reserves. Well, CCF, you've been so generous that we are going to use all of the money that you have pledged through Build Up in order to address all the building needs. And because we were moving that money from the general fund, we actually can keep that money in the general fund and use it for some very important things on the horizon. For instance, we would love to use some of that money for some of our search for our new lead pastor, some of the travel expenses that we have, some of the hotel expenses that we have, in order to be able to engage the candidates that are on the horizon. We also want to use that potentially for some of the overlap in salaries that we might experience during the course of this year as we make the transition. So there's some ways that we really would love to have extra cash on hand, and that's what we would intend to do. We just wouldn't move that money across to the building because we've been provided all that we need through you. So we'll use that money that was set aside for that, but now it can be set aside for some other purposes. I hope that makes sense. Ask us if you have other questions about that, because we're happy to answer that. Well, this is an exciting time, and the building is getting refreshed. There's so much that's happening at the church right now, and so it's a great time, CCF, to be here and to be the church and pursue God together. Thanks for all your efforts in Build Up.